Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World Blitz Scrabble Championship. Today is Saturday, March 27th, 2021. It is 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, but it is still 10 a.m. back on the west coast of the U.S. where I'm coming at you. My name is Evans Clinchy. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a morning person, but I am toughing it out. I'm waking up at the very early hour of like 9:30 or something, and I'm happy to have you with us for this broadcast of Week 9, BlitzChamps. We are getting into the very final matches of pool play in the entire tournament, and today we're going to have a very important match from the Falcon group. Let's go right to the standings. Here's a look at where the standings right now stand in the Falcon group. We've got Piotr Andronowski in first place in the group at 7-1 with 53 game wins, and Piotr, despite being in first place right now, is not yet guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. He's got to get through one more match first, and it's going to be a tough one. He's playing Paul Gallen, and as you can see, Paul is also right in the thick of it, battling for a playoff. So we got Piotr versus Paul. Earlier this morning, we had Irfan Siddiqui versus Jack Moran, and Irfan needed a 5-4 win to stay alive, and he got exactly a 5-4 win. So we got a very crazy situation right now where Piotr, Irfan, Paul, and Matthew O'Connor are all battling. It's 4 players, 2 playoff spots, and we're going to find out who makes it after today. I see Matthew's in the chat right now. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting situation if Piotr wins and then you go 6-3. It's going to be very, very interesting. We could have a situation where there's like a 3-way tie, 52 wins, and it could be crazy. So right now the situation is, if Paul wins, it's pretty straightforward. Paul and Piotr are going to make it. If Piotr wins, then Paul is out, and it's going to be a very close Irfan-Matthew race for the other spot, with Matthew looking to go 6-3 later today against Tony Sim. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to briefly take a look at the schedule for Week 9. Wait, what's not true? Sorry, what did I get wrong? Tell me. I thought it was 6-3 was your goal, but we'll see. All right, looks like, oh, you have a shot if Paul wins a blowout. That is true, because if Paul wins a blowout, let me go right back to the standings. If Paul wins a blowout, then, so if Matthew, if you go 8-1, for example, you'd be at 54 wins, and Piotr could like win only one game or something and also be at 54. Okay, that is possible. That is possible. Okay. Anyway, looking at the schedule, we're going to have Paul versus Piotr right now, 5 p.m. GMT, and then 9 hours from now, so later in the evening Pacific U.S. time, Matthew takes on Tony Sim. So that is the plan, and we're also going to have a few other matches that are important, including David Eldar versus Wei Bin To, with a spot in the Aardvark group on the line. So a lot of interesting content coming your way, and it's going to start right now with Paul versus Piotr, and I'm going to take a quick look at the Woogles room. It looks like they are ready to go. Let's go right to it. Woogles board, Paul right up, and we're going to have Wordbound. That's Paul Gallen versus Kwaniak. That is Piotr Andronowski. So game 1, Paul versus Piotr underway. It is Fated for 28 from Paul and Tenka for 18, the opening plays for Piotr, that is, of the match. So looking forward to this match. 2 of the best players in the tournament going head-to-head, and both of them looking for a chance to extend their tournament. Nothing is guaranteed for either one of them yet. So the first bingo of the match is Threader for 62 from Wordbound, Paul Gallen, and it looks like there's not quite going to be a playable bingo in response from Piotr. Looks like Epinaski is the word with a T in this rack, and it won't quite fit. So what do you do here? You just play through that T for maximum score. 36 points for Painty looks very strong. So a little bit of a lead early on here in game 1 for Paul, 90-59. Hope you guys are all doing well on your Saturday. I think it's Saturday for pretty much anybody watching this. It is Saturday morning if you're in the Pacific U.S. like Matthew and myself. It is later on Saturday. I think it's 5 p.m. for these 2 players who are on Greenwich Mean Time, Paul and Piotr. I believe Piotr lives in somewhere near London, and I think Paul is from Northern Ireland. Paul is widely regarded as one of the top players in all of Europe, pretty much, and in all of the world, honestly. But still fighting for his life in this tournament. If he loses today, he is out. I think Paul was, I want to say 6-0, but he took a loss against Josh Sokol, and I believe a loss against Matthew as well. So he is not guaranteed a playoff spot just yet. So couple of bingos early for Paul. He gets down Arcanas for 73 plus 5 for the challenge, as well as Threader earlier. So he is in control so far, but Piotr is scoring pretty well himself. 56 points for Tozy, and he is still alive in this game for sure, trying to get a bingo down. Oh, yeah, Poetizes was available. That is a very good point. Yeah. Pyotr had Poetizes from this P, would have been over 100 points, but that is unfortunately missed, and Paul retains a pretty good lead here. I see Matthew in the chat just sweating every single play Pyotr makes. It's going to be a stressful hour for you, man. I'm sorry. All right, so Pyotr, good news for Matthew, does bingo on the following turn. Oh, no, he doesn't. Salix's is no good. All right, so not a very good start for Pyotr here. See if he can shake off the early rust and then play a little bit better from here on. But yeah, Salix's is a phony bingo from Pyotr. All right, what do you do here? You play through your E's with ew for 33, which also expresses how gross that rack looked. 4 E's and a W. All right, so a little bit of a normal looking rack now for Paul, and he plays beg for 38, looking strong. Yeah, I think both these guys are a little bit older than they look in these pictures. I think in a lot of cases, I like scrounged around the internet for photos of these guys, and in a lot of cases found pictures that were like 10 years old. Not the people were 10 years old, the photos were 10 years ago. I think Paul is probably around the same age as me, like mid-30s, but he probably looks a little bit younger in this picture, huh? All right, so what's going on here? We got Paul ahead by 91, and he's on turn as well. He's got the first of the 2 blanks on his rack. He plays bio to unload some extra vowels, and it's not a very good draw here for Pyotr. He is down by over 100 and not drawing very useful tiles. Doesn't have a T for Ultisols, doesn't have anything really. He plays bulls, seems normal enough, and wow, both blanks now for Paul. So a commanding spot here for Paul Gallen, both blanks, and he's already in the lead. Sillier comes down for an easy bingo here, and he leads by about 167. Yeah, he's in control. 157, my bad. Looking like a win here in game 1 for Paul Gallen, playing for his tournament life, and so far he is alive and well. I see Physics in the chat asking who Matthew wants to win. The answer to that is he wants Pyotr to win. If Pyotr wins, then Paul's got 3 losses and Paul is out. And that creates a free-for-all for the second spot where Irfan Siddiqui or Matthew could get in. But if Paul wins, it's a pretty straightforward situation where Paul and Pyotr both get in. Or, as Matthew noted earlier, if Paul goes just dominantly well, like 8-1, 9-0, then Pyotr could actually fall out. But yeah, the far easier scenario here is that Paul loses a close one, and then Matthew gets in with like a 6 or 7 game win later today. All right, so it's looking like a little bit of a closer finish as Pram is a very high-scoring play for Pyotr that gets him back in the game, but he's not going to make it all the way back. Your final score is 461, 376. Paul Gallen gets the win in game 1. Wow, there's a phony 3 of Yoy, Y-O-Y, that was played. I didn't even see that part of it. Phonies are flying around so fast. In any event, it is a win for Paul Gallen in game 1, and he is up 1 game to none. So a good start for Paul. So just another look at the standings if you guys are a little bit confused. I know I am. So if Paul were to win this match by a score of like 6-3 or something, then he would have 7 wins and he'd have 58 game wins. So that would be a pretty clean scenario where he's in and Pyotr would have, you know, in that case, 56 wins and he'd be in. So if you're somebody like Matthew or Irfan, you don't want to see a normal win by Paul of like 6-3 or something. You want to see either a Paul blowout of 8-1, 9-0, or you want to see Paul just lose to Pyotr. So far, I guess so good? No, that's probably bad for you to see Paul win games. All right, let's go back to it. Yes, Irfan needs Pyotr to win. That is true. Honestly, if you just want like maximum drama and intrigue, you want to see, well, I don't know. Let's not even get too far. Let's just watch the games and we'll see what happens. All right, so we got game 2, Mayo for 18 to open from Pyotr, and sadly no E for video fit. What are the other words you can play here? Maybe something like vidiot or divot will come down here. I don't think vidiot fits with like all the overlaps, but you can just do it like here for a decent score, 22. We'll see what... okay, Fid instead, 25, better score, but kind of a weird lead with that IOTV. Much better leave for Kwaniak here. Pyotr gets on Aerobats. Pretty solid bingo, putting him in the lead. Is the Falcon the only predator animal in the groups? What do buffaloes eat? I don't even know. I can't really imagine a buffalo like chasing you. It's pretty big and fat. I don't know. Somebody else who knows their animals better could tell me. Oh, dingoes. There you go. Someone explain the food chain. I know nothing. All right, so unloaded comes down. It's funny that Paul did see the word video because he played it the following turn. Didn't play it the previous turn, though. All right, so after the multiple bingos from Pyotr, he's in a pretty solid position here. He's up by, wow, now he's up by a lot of bingos. So Tsarians is his third one, and it's a monster lead for Pyotr. Looking like Pyotr's going to be evening this series 1-1 pretty soon. Hey, Jalopik1, welcome. Appreciate your animal behavior knowledge. Love it. You can always trust Scrabblers to have the most obscure knowledge no matter what topic you want to know about. There's somebody out there that can help you. Looking forward to hearing all about what dingoes eat. I learned from The Simpsons that there's a website called whatbadgerseat.com, but I'm not sure if there's a similar thing for other animals like dingoes. You guys can be sure to fill me in. Wow, look at James playing his Blitz chess and watching us at the same time. Just a champion multitasker. Love to see it. All right, I am going off on weird tangents because I am bored by this game. It looks like a very easy win for Pyotr in game 2. It's going to be 1-1, barring something crazy happening. Normally I would say barring somebody flagging, but Pyotr is just so insanely fast that is not an issue. He has used 1 minute and 4 seconds for like 2/3 of the game because he is crazy fast like that. I've played both these guys in person. I know firsthand they are not at all worried about time in these games because they are both very good at playing fast Scrabble. As you can see, Pyotr is especially good at it. He is just burning through plays. I think Pyotr is one of those guys, like myself, honestly, who learned a lot about Scrabble from just playing lots and lots and lots of Blitz matches online when he was younger. And I think Conrad's also a player like that. I think Matthew would also qualify as that kind of player. Just learn the game by just playing thousands and thousands of Blitz matches. And when you do that, you're just in your element in an event like this. All right, so about a 150-point lead here for Pyotr, as it pretty consistently has been. Looking like he's going to cruise here. 408 to 259. Some cool words on this board, though. Myra How, whatever that is. Sounds like a Maori thing, but I couldn't tell you, like, what Maori thing. Let's ask that bot. Define Myra How. It's a small aromatic shrub of New Zealand. There you go. Yeah, so I did email the players about their spreads earlier this week, so all the guys know that if spread matters, like where they stand. What I have not yet done is get out my spreadsheet and look at how Irfan did this morning, because I just woke up. So I don't know exactly how many points of spread Irfan is ahead of or behind Matthew. It's going to be very close, I know that. I believe that somebody was like 100 points up on somebody, and then I believe that Irfan won 5-4, so I would assume that was another close match spread-wise as well. Yeah. Matthew, if it matters, I will go ahead and like scrape the numbers from Wiggles this morning and find who needs the points. But luckily there's like 9 hours between your match and his. We got time to figure all that out. All right, so Snath for 102. Wow, 102-point 5-tile play. Very nice. Overlapping tweezers. And that's just going to make the final score a little bit closer, but Paul will still lose handily here. Going to be a 1-1 match in just a moment. Yeah, so if Matthew wins 6-3 against Tony Sim later, which is very possible, we could have a tie exactly between Matthew and Irfan Siddiqui, but we don't yet know whether that is a tie for first place or for second place or for third place or what have you. So, whole lot of moving pieces, that is for sure. Yeah, that's right. James is a student of animal dominance, which is a very cool topic. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the insights that James can share here. All I know is there's been very little dingo dominance in this tournament because all the dingoes are like either 7-2 or they're like 0-9 or something. We could very well have a four-way tie at 7-2. Okay, anyway, Piotr Andronowski gets the win in game 2. He improves to 1-1 in the match. We're gonna have a close one, it looks like. I think it's pretty unlikely that Paul wins this match 8-1. I was saying that from the beginning because these are both two strong players. I don't anticipate a blowout on either side. So if you're somebody like Matthew or Irfan looking to sneak in, I think you're looking for a Piotr win here. Very unlikely anybody's getting blown out. So quick look at the standings. It's looking like Piotr's going to be 7-2 or 8-1, and Paul's going to be 7-2 or 6-3 after this match. And so, okay, Irfan went plus 393. There you go. So Matthew, you're looking at, you need to go like, yeah, 6-3 plus 250-ish. Okay. All right, back to the board. Game 3 coming up as everyone is sweating out Piotr. Can Piotr get a win here in this match? It is 1-1, and we're on to game 3 with a taxi as the opening play from Paul Gallen, and kind of a weird rack. I don't see a bingo. I don't really see a great overlapping play either. What do you play here if you're Piotr? I was looking for some kind of like maybe duel. Duel for 23 seems okay. Okay, Luxated. You just play long, blow up the rack, keep only a G. Not bad. 30 points for Luxated. Okay, so the Q is a pretty unsightly draw here for Paul, but he's got QI, obviously. Seems like QI here seems pretty standard. 23 for that if you play it. Not a lot of other options for the Q here. Oh, we can play Kide. All right, 14 for that, getting rid of one of those two Ds that you have doubled up. Ooh, I see Megafog, and so does Piotr. Very nice. Megafog comes down for 80. What a cool word. And it's going to give back a couple of Z hotspots. That'll make things interesting here. Is there a Z play that fits, though? I'm not sure. Oh, no Saz. What a weird situation. It looks like there's a Z bomb, but I don't actually see what the word would be. Yeah, Megafog, a very cool play, and props to Piotr on finding it instantly. 80 points and the lead here for Piotr, looking to go up 2-1. I don't actually see a Z play. Like, you'd love to have, like, ZO, but OG isn't a word. I'd love to have, like, SAS, but SA isn't good. Like, I don't think, looking at this Z, but you don't have a vowel that goes here. I don't think there's any valid Z-bomb here, despite the two massive spots for it. Maybe what you do here is you just play Gound and just hope for... Yeah, that's what he does. Wow, he plays Gound and just hopes for a Z play later. So he's got two spots for the Z. One of them is blocked, and the other one is, wow, still not playable. That's pretty bad luck for Paul, actually. Because he has no, like, A for ZA. Like, he's got no A for any, like, SAS type action here. So, all right, he just plays Doze, giving up on the two-way Z overlap. Pretty good score for Doze, though, and now we got a very strong rack for Piotr. It looks like reclothe would fit. I think this is a word, right? To clothe again. There's probably other words as well. That's just the first one I thought of. Let's see here. Hey, bot, help me out here. Anagram. Okay, yeah, that would work. Lathered. Let's try to see if there was like a double-double through the O, but there probably wasn't one. Oh, that's not the rack at all. Theologer. I meant this. Okay. Hotelier, hostler. There you go. So lathered looks fine. And invents is a 7-letter word that appears to not play anywhere, unfortunately for Paul. So Paul's getting pretty low on time. I think those decisions with the Z were hard to think through, and he just kind of got low on time because of that. Only 40 seconds plus the extra minute of overtime available here for Paul. 48 tiles in the bag, still a long way to go. Tough situation here. Looks like your bingo won't play, and it's kind of hard to find an alternative choice here. You want to keep a good leave, but how do you do that? It's just tough. Like, you don't really want to play just like, I guess Veiny is fine. 26 keeping NST. NST a solid leave here. Ends with Luxated. Oh my gosh. Subluxated. There you go. All right, he plays Vina for 12. I think Veiny might have been a miss. That's a much higher scoring option. But you got to play something. You're low on time. And it's now back to Pyotr, who's ahead by quite a bit now. But Paul gets his bingo. He gets negatons down, and it's pretty bad the draw for Pyotr here. Too many vowels. Can't really score points with this rack. What can you do with it? You'd love to take out this triple if you can. Maybe you play Nehru here. Or Anuria, same idea. Yeah, Anuria keeping just what, IN as a leaf? Pretty good. So you take out that triple, you score a little bit. You make it harder for Paul to come back. Paul's down by 80, and he's over on time now. Looks like still no bingo here for Paul. But he can play Raya. A nice aggressive play, setting up a lane for his S. Very interesting. I don't see a bingo here either for Pyotr. He doesn't have, like, traction won't quite fit through this A. He needs more space there. Looks like no 7 or anything. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if Pyotr can't bingo, and we just saw a leave of ERS, a very strong leave for Paul. So he keeps ERS. He opens up this spot here. If Paul draws something and he bingos now, this could be a very close game. Time is, of course, a factor, especially for Paul. Pyotr with a lot more time on the clock. Yep, took TOC as an option. Wait a minute. That would make OA. That wouldn't work. Okay, caught up, blocks well, and pays is a nice scoring play, opening up more bingo real estate here. Very interesting. Paul making it a little bit closer. So, looks like nothing available here. And, oh, bar flies for 92. We got a game. Paul takes the lead. 8 tiles in the bag. And now Pyotr's behind by a little bit. Still a pretty bad draw. Too many vowels. What do you do with this? You play Uri. Nice play. 26 points. And Paul is now down by 7 with 3 tiles in the bag. Maybe he plays 2 here and tries to score what he can. No, he just plays Poos, emptying the bag. And it's going to be close. 31 points down. Pyotr looking to find an out in 2 here. Not the easiest out in 2. There's not a lot of scoring spots on this board. Maybe you, geez, I really don't know what you do here. Where's there a scoring spot for your B or your C or your W or anything? Okay, big for 34. Nice play. Big making Obi and Zin. Very close game. Paul's got 30 seconds on his clock, and he's down a little bit, down by 3 here. Wince is the 5 tiles on Paul's rack, but I don't see a spot for Wince. I don't think either player's going out anytime soon. This might be a prolonged endgame, and Paul's got 17 seconds. Slunk puts him up by a little bit. NICAD, and what can Paul do here? He's down by 6 with ER. He should make it here. ER for 11 should do it. Yeah, wow. Paul Gallen gets the win in a time scramble here. 401, 376 your final, and Paul goes ahead now 2 games to 1. Nice work by Paul in the endgame, pulling it out. Tough work under pressure with the time ticking down. Was Kata right? That's a great question. I don't know. So Kata was played by Piotr Andronowski earlier to just cut off bingos. I didn't see any like star play that would look better, and Kata was a good way to block bingos in the very obvious bingo opening that Paul created. I mean, you guys can debate that later. I don't know. But Kata definitely has its merits, I'll tell you that. It was a tough spot. I mean, I think at that point, we can examine real quickly before the next game. I think at that point, it was kind of a 1 bingo margin, right? Like, you really don't want to give a bingo when you're down by, or when you're up by 57. In a 57-point game, you're up a bingo. You don't want to let your opponent bingo easily. And Kata does restrict things quite a bit. Having said that, there's other places to bingo anyway. Like, in the outcome we saw here, like, you just play pays, right? You score 27, and all of a sudden you got more bingo lanes open, and you're scoring, and you're getting back in the game that way. So it's not as though Kata like wins the game easily or anything, but it was a good block at the time. Debatable choice for sure. All right, we got to move on. Game number 4 coming up now, and Paul's now up 2-1, and he's going first in game 4, a chance to make it 3-1. He plays Bob for 14 to open, and looks like Jow is likely coming up here from Pyotr. He's got J-O-W. Easy tiles to dump here. I would expect Jow here. Whoop, if I could type. 28 points for that if he plays it. All right, Jow does indeed come down. And I would expect Hey. Or wait, is there a bingo in this? No. Probably not. A couple of spots here for H-A-Y. Or maybe Aya. Maybe you play Aya here with all of the overlaps for 36, keeping PRS. Oh, Yarfas, that's the bingo. I thought there might be one. Okay. Unfortunately, it is not seen by Pyotr either. He plays Sharpie instead and gets the challenge at least. Yeah, Yarfas, that's a hard word. I definitely have seen it, but it's not the easiest one to come up with in your brain. All right, so after the missed bingo, Pyotr is still ahead by a little bit, and Paul is looking at kind of a strange rack. Okay, he does find height. Nice play. 39 points, good score, and it's back to Pyotr with a little bit of a vowel issue. Oh, so Yarfa with an F and then Yarfa with a PH. Good point. All right. Is there a spot for like Naiad or something? No, I don't think so. Okay, just AI. That leave of ADEIN. He draws diamine or amidine, but Paul gets a bingo first. So Paul now leads by 75, and we're going to see about 75 coming down from... Oh, amidine plays for more than 75. 86 for amidine there, tripling your M. And, wow, looks like Marvier is going to play for a lot. 91 for Marvier, and Paul jumps out into a lead here, looking like he could be 3-1 unless Pyotr can fight back. What's going to happen here? Not a great draw for Paul Gallen on this turn. 3 ends. What do you do? Okay, Funner gets rid of a couple of them and scores 19. Looks like a good play. And second all shows up on Pyotr's rack. We got a game. Okay. 262 to 260. Z, X, Y, all sorts of scoring potential now on Paul's rack. Sorry. What can Paul do with the Z and the X? Looks like nothing plays here. Like UX isn't a word. You could save that for later, though. You could play Yez. Oh, he plays Tunny, keeping ZX as a leave. Wow. Fig Eater, the bingo right away from Pyotr. And now it's Paul down by a little bit, but he's got that Z and that X for scoring here. He's definitely going to get some points coming up. Zex is 59 and the lead. No, sorry, not the lead. Down by 1. And wow, right out of the bag, a bingo for Pyotr. Okay, you guys were right. It is not over yet. Pyotr is looking strong here in Game 4. A chance to tie it up 2-2. Okay. Ugly draw now for Paul, who's behind by a bingo all of a sudden. He's got the Q, the W, all sorts of garbage. 10 tiles in the bag. He plays Weld for points. And he sets up a new lane to bingo here in line E, but it's going to be hard. Oh, wow. Another great draw for Piotr Andronowski, who bingos again with Glorias, and he's going to win Game 4. Very, very nice. Nice drawing and nice playing. Drawing bingos is one thing, but finding them and playing your entire game in 1 minute and 25 seconds, that is another thing altogether. Just impressive work by Pyotr. So, nice game for Pyotr, who comes back from a pretty big deficit early and just plays all of the bingos. Did he get down 5 this game? He got down a lot of bingos, that's for sure. I kind of lost count of who played which ones, but a lot of them were Pyotr, that's for sure. Looks like Glorias, takeouts, Fig Eater. Did he bingo 4 times in a row? I think he got 4 in a row. So, very nice game for Pyotr. The final score is 508 to 450, and we've got a tie series, 2 games to 2. It is now a best of 5 with a playoff spot on the line. If you're just joining us, this is Paul Gallen and Piotr Andronowski, and they are in a tight race for the playoffs in the Falcon group. We got Pyotr in first place at 7-1. We got Paul in second place at 6-2. If Paul were to win this match, it would be pretty simple. Paul and Pyotr are both in. If Pyotr wins, things get crazy. Pyotr is in, and then we got a very, very close race with Irfan Siddiqui and Matthew O'Connor, who is in the chat sweating right now. Racing for the second spot. So 4 guys alive and well in this race for only 2 spots, and we will find out today who gets the spots. It is right now Paul Gallen fighting for his tournament life, and he is in a 2-2 tie match right now, a very close race for this match with Piotr Andronowski. 2 very strong players going head-to-head here, and it is a close race so far. Quaniac the Maniac, there you go. All right. Game 5 starts now. It is Paul Gallen first, and he's got kind of a difficult rack. Viatic. Okay, nice play there. Viatic for 30 points. That takes an A for Aviatic, or however you pronounce that. Aviatic. And what do you have here? Schold, that's a word. There you go. Also, Coal Shed, I think, would have played from the sea. Both good options. All right, so a bingo early for Pyotr, and now Paul's got a strong scoring rack. I mean, you can play Zoa or Fez or something here. Looks like Zoa is 50 points and Fez is 53. So plenty of ways to score well. You could even do, yeah, okay, so Zoa for 50 is the choice. Seems good. And let's see here. Oh yeah, Phased was also an option there. Okay, so remap for 40 points. Nice scoring play from Pyotr, and the X shows up. So Paul is just doing a very good job of drawing scoring tiles. Lots of X's and Z's these last couple of games. And what can be done with the X here? You can play nothing that good, I don't think, actually. Looking in all of the spots and just not seeing stuff. Like, I guess Ox is 30. You're going to keep a pretty funky leave, though, no matter what you do. This is kind of difficult. I was looking like here. You can play XO. Gets rid of an extra vowel. Okay, Foxy. That's pretty good. 30 points, keeping EOU as a leave. No, sorry. EU blank. There's a blank on his rack. I never see those blanks. All right, so Blah for 35. Good scoring play from Paul, who remains ahead by a little bit, but Pyotr remains ahead by a little bit. So Paul Gallen with a blank, but a pretty funky rack with it still. How do you unload some of these tiles? This is tricky. He plays Veg, okay. 31 for that, keeping IKU blank. And Grunter comes down right away. So pretty solid lead for Pyotr here in Game 5. What can be done for Mr. Wordbound here, Paul Gallen? He plays Yuking. Good play. Scoring well, taking out that triple. 33 points for that, and he's going to have a shot here. I'm just panicking because I realized my laptop wasn't charged. Let's plug that in right now. And, okay. I believe we are saved. The laptop is now charging. All is well. Okay, so Purd for 33 from Pyotr. It is Pyotr up by a solid bingo margin here, and it looks like Paul is still kind of struggling to draw the right tiles with his blank. I don't think... Ooh, Hurlbat was missed. That's unfortunate. When did that happen? Hurlbat. Oh yeah, Hurlbat when he played Blah, unfortunately, yeah. All right, so Spawn comes down for 42, so Pyotr continues to score well, and Paul continues to not draw a bingo with this blank. He's had that blank for almost the whole game, and he's just not drawing the right letters with it. Looks like Pyotr now has Lindros, the hockey legend Eric Lindros. Not a playable word at all, but cool word. What do you play here? Looks like nothing very good here. You can play like Lloyd or Loin. Oh, Droyles, nice scoring play, 41 for that. And finally, Paul gets his bingo, bite size for 70 with both blanks. He just fights and fights and fights, and on like his 9th or 10th turn, he finally gets a bingo off the rack. So it is Pyotr still up by a little bit. Paul's going to need to bingo again, and it's a very hard board to do so. Pyotr just keeps on scoring. 33 points more, and does Chave take an S? I think it might not. Yeah, Chave does not take an S, so that is not a bingo lane for Paul here. Going to be tough to get one down. Pyotr is up by 39 and on turn. Yeah, Chave means I have. Maybe it's Chav. I don't know how to pronounce it. Jouncy for 52. Good scoring play, but Pyotr is still ahead in the endgame here. And I don't think Paul's got the goods here. Only 3 tiles, EIS, and I think whatever Pyotr does, he can just outrun and win this one. What's the play here? I'm actually not seeing a great word with these low-scoring tiles, but I think anything reasonable, like just a do is enough to win. It'll put you up by 40 points, and there's no way Paul's getting 40. Oh yeah, Odia, even better than a do. There you go. All right, a do there, similar idea, and it looks like Pyotr will score enough to hold on and win this thing. Paul's got 38 seconds to look, but I don't think he can find much here. He's down by 42, so he needs 34 to tie, 35 to win. And his rack is just not scoring enough. EIS. Where's the best spot for EIS anyway? Not seeing very much. Yeah, not seeing much at all, really. Oh, hey, Becky, you're on break from Can-Am. I thought Can-Am wasn't starting till like 11 or something. I don't know what I thought. All right, final score is Piotr 428, Paul 408. It is a 3-2 lead for Piotr Andronowski. So we're going to have a very, very close finish and a maximum difficult sweat for Matthew and Irfan as they await the winner of this match. Again, if you are Matthew or Irfan, you are praying for a Piotr win, which will keep you alive in this tournament, because if Paul wins, it is a pretty straightforward Paul and Piotr both advance. Yeah, how's Can-Am going? I'm curious. I didn't get a chance to check that out yet. Oh, so Becky's too. Well, you guys already played a lot of matches. Didn't realize that. Oh, so officially Piotr is in. Okay. So Piotr has 3 wins, so he will be at least, even if there's a worst case scenario, 7-2 with 56 game wins, and he cannot be passed by. Wait, so if Piotr loses out, he'll be 7-2 with 56 wins, and Paul. Why can't Piotr still be passed by Paul? Oh, because Paul will only have. I don't know. Oh, not necessarily first. I see. Okay, he can still get second. I got you. All right. So Piotr is in, and it is a 3-way race for 1 spot. I got you. Okay, so Paul, Gallen, Irfan Siddiqui, and Matthew O'Connor all in this race for 1 playoff spot. Okay. Yeah, I trust Matthew as well. I'm sure he's mathed this out. No problem. All right, so we're waiting on Paul and Piotr to begin game 6. We got 4 games to go, and Paul Gallen is fighting for his life here. For those of you just joining us, it is a close race in the Falcon group for the playoffs. Yeah, so many players are strong right now. Very, very true. Last night we learned who the top 4 playoff seeds are going to be. It's going to be Austin Shin, Will Anderson, Dave Wiegand, and Chris May. Those are your top 4 seeds for the playoff bracket. Dave with a convincing win last night over Andrew Fisher. He won 7-2 against Andrew Fisher, which is very impressive. Hard for anybody to beat Andrew Fisher 7-2, but Dave did it. So yeah, Austin, Will, Chris, and Dave. Those are your top seeds. All right, so opening with a bingo in game 6 is Piotr. Good start for Mr. Andronowski here. Distant. And I see Boreas's, however you pronounce it, is a playable bingo here for Paul. He's probably got other bingos too, right? I don't see them though. What does he have? Oh, aerobes is a word. That's true. I didn't see aerobes. 73 points for aerobes. Nice find. Okay. Yeah, I can explain the bracket a little bit. Basically, what we're doing is we're doing a system that minimizes repeats. So the left side and the right side of the bracket will have 1 player from each group. There will be no repeats until the finals. And so like player 1A, the person who wins the top group is Austin, and then player 1B, Aaron, who's in second, are on opposite sides, left and right. And every match in the first round will be a winner versus a second place. So, for example, Austin, who was 1A, the winner of the top group, will play Benji, who was second place in his group. So there will be a 1 versus a 2 in every matchup in the first round. It's hard to explain all the details, but I will trust Matthew if he says he plays Chris May. I don't actually know if that's true. Wait a minute, I think that's not true actually, because it's not 1A versus 8B. It's 1A versus 2B. Yeah, so 1A is Austin, and Austin will play 2B, who is Benji. I think the winner of this group is going to be like maybe the 7 seed, and they'll play like the 8B. I think it's likely the winner of this plays. I think Jacob Teitelbaum is the most likely opponent for the winner of this match, but I'm not positive of that. Anyway, close game here in game 6. Piotr is ahead by a little bit, and oh, that's right. Piotr could be the 6. That's very true. All right, so close game here. Paul pulls ahead by a little bit here, up by 21, but Vulu scores nicely for Piotr. Close game. Interesting draw here. I don't think there's a bingo that actually plays. So what can be done here? Paul is down by 11 points. Very close game. No spot, I don't think, for anything like unmiter. He just plays minuet, just blows up the rack and scores 31. No interest in fishing for a bingo, which makes a lot of sense. You can't really fish on this board. There's not a lot of bingos that are going to play. So both players scoring well. 31 for minuet, but then Pyotr gets 46 for calf. Pyotr leads by a little bit here. Paul is just trying to keep pace on the scoreboard here. Jot for 26. Both players scoring what they can. I see Yao as one option here, and he does play it. Pyotr continues to score well. Maybe frag overlapping Yao or something similar to that. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like frag is kind of a natural. Oh, your fab, that looks pretty good as well. EGRT to leave for Paul. Yeah, frab also would make sense there. Oh yeah, Fatberg is a word. That is a new one they added last update, but no spot for Fatberg. All right, so very, very close game. 273, 272, 1 point margin, and a low scoring play here, unloading duplicate R's and I's. Frig for 10. And not a very good draw either for Paul, who's getting low on time. 11 seconds to go. He plays Greet. Nice play. 33 points on a difficult board. And Paul takes a small lead here. But Pyotr's going to come right back with something, I'm sure. What does he have, though? This is tough. Difficult board. It's hard to play fast on these boards. It's just like play finding becomes difficult, and it's just tough. Maybe you play Ox here, setting up your O. There's only one other O unseen, so this is often going to work out for you. Okay, or Oxo. But, ooh, there's the blank. First of the two blanks, that is. And what can Mr. Andronowski play here? I don't see a bingo right away. Maybe the bot does. So there was no 7. And not a lot of 8s either. Looks like there wasn't anything available. So both players just keep scoring, and it is Paul ahead by a little bit, but oh, Pyotr gets the bingo. Dummies, and now a chance to bingo out. Does Paul have it? He does. Kneeler for the win. Wow. Paul Gallen bingos out. And assuming Kneeler is good, which I think it is, it'll be a win for Paul Gallen here in Game 6. It is a pass, and Kneeler is indeed good. So Paul gets the win in dramatic fashion, bingoing out to win Game 6, and we are now all tied 3 games to 3. It is now a best of 3 with everyone's playoff life on the line. Paul, Matthew, Irfan, they're just all waiting to see what happens these last 3 games. So a dramatic finish coming up no matter what. We'll see if Paul can get the win here in a crucial swing game here in Game 7. You do not want to be down 4-3. Was not bingoing an option? That is an interesting question. Didn't think of it. So if we go to the examiner, so you're saying he could have not played Damines. So Pyotr is down by 36. I don't know if you want to risk not bingoing here. I mean, it's such a bad board that you could just be screwed and just never get your bingo down ever. There's just so many whammy tiles you can draw. You don't want to draw the Q or the V or anything. I think you just got to pray. Oh, yeah, the overtime's not accounted for. That's true. I think you've just got to play the bingo and hope that your opponent draws those whammy QV tiles. I think there's a lot of scenarios here where your opponent does not bingo. The pool looks kind of scary, but also kind of not scary because it's just such a weird balance of consonants. Like, there's a lot of QV, E draws that just don't bingo. I think Damines wins a pretty okay majority of the time. Well, maybe not a majority, but it wins sometimes. Oh, yeah, Karpa's not a word. That is also pointed out in the chat, yeah. So you could also challenge off the phony. That's one option. All right, let's move along. We've got a tied match here, 3-3. And Sub-Idea is the opening rack from Pyotr, but I think Neshist is a word here, so Paul should bingo right back. Define Neshist for me, bot. Oh, is it not? Is it not Neshist? Is it Sneens? Oh, maybe it's both. No, it's just Neshist. All right, so it looks like Paul is also not sure because he's thinking for a while rather than just playing Neshist quickly. Oh yeah, Sfiends with a P. There you go. Okay, so Paul really taking his time on this rack. He must be unsure of the words. Or oh, he's also got enthuses. Oh, he's got multiple choices. Okay, enthuses is not a good play though because it doesn't double anything. 66, but Neshist here looks much stronger. 75 points. He does find it. Okay, so after a minute-long think, Paul finds Neshist. Always Bing for the minimum. There you go. That's the spirit. All right, I would expect maybe quinoa or maybe just QI. You got a good spot here for QI, 27, and a good spot here for QI, 31. All right, he plays that one, 31 points, and we got ourselves a close game. It is Paul down by 30, but he's on turn. He's got the. I feel like he's drawn every X. Just a lot of X plays this match for Paul Gallen. Oh yeah, Equinia also a word. That is a good point. Equinia would have been nice. Doubling your Q, scoring quite a bit. Wait, I-N-I-A. That's not doubled. All right, where do you play Ox or Oxo or something here? This is difficult. I don't think there's any, like, Xora isn't a word. No. Difficult position here for Paul. First he spends a minute on Neshis, and now he's got another minute off his clock almost with his X-Rack, with no clear star play, I don't think. Very difficult. Maybe you play, I don't know. Yeah, this could be a flagging situation. Paul's used over 2 minutes and Piotr's used 24 seconds. Ooh, and he bingos right away with adhesion. So Piotr is up a bingo, and he's up about 2 minutes on the clock already. This is a tough spot for Paul Gallen. He's got to play fast from here on out. Nobody is flagged yet in this match, I don't think. Or did Paul flag once? I don't remember. But time's going to be a real issue this game. All right, Udo for 23. But yeah, that was a long think. 26 seconds to play Udo is a lot of time. You can't really afford that right now. Is Ben-Offies a word? Define Ben-Offies. Yeah, that's the play here. Ben-Offies for 90 points. Who thinks he's going to find it? I think he might. Piotr's got some crazy word knowledge. If he can, oh, sad. All right, he plays Biffo instead. That'll give an opportunity to Paul to come back here. He's only down by a bingo. Let's see here. He plays Viga, and ooh, very good draw for Piotr. He's going to bingo and quickly, I bet. I see Earstone as a pretty clear double-double here. Or Sensei, yeah, 78 points for that either. I think they're both 78, yeah. So Piotr is in a commanding spot here, up by 140, and he's way ahead on the clock as well. Looking like it could be a dream come true for Matthew and Irfan as Piotr with a real chance to eliminate Paul Gallen. He's going to be up 4-3 if he holds on here. For Paul, he's got his work cut out for him. He's got to battle back either in this game or in the next two. Okay, Plateman is going to really put it out of reach here. 188 points ahead now. A commanding spot for Piotr Andronowski in Game 7. So the official policy is we round up to 50. So any forfeit win, whether it's by resignation or timeout or anything, is a minimum 50 spread. So if you're behind by 100, we give you 150 extra spread points, so it becomes a plus 50. Okay, so roving for 24, and not that it matters. It looks like Piotr's going to win pretty comfortably. Yes, that was accounted for. Good question, Matthew. So big thank you to Weben Toe, who gave us the software to scrape all the games off of Wiggles. And big thank you to Martin DeMello, who wrote a script that runs through a spreadsheet and converts all of the games to spreads that are calculated by our method. So thanks to Weben and Martin, we have accurate spreads by our rules for all 80 players. Okay, so we've got ourselves a pretty clear win here for Pyotr, and it's going to be 4-3. So it's going to be a very, very close race in the Falcon group. That is for sure. Piotr Andronowski is guaranteed a spot, and Paul Gallen is fighting for one. He is in a tough spot here. He will have to win 2 in a row. If you are just joining us, you are joining us for a banger. A very, very tight match with Piotr Andronowski right now moving into the lead 4-3. So, is Paul going to lose by flagging or by the scoreboard? We will find out. All right, Paul flags, and it is a 4-3 series lead for Kwaniak. Piotr Andronowski here. And Paul Gallen is now in a do-or-die situation. He must win 2 games in a row to save his tournament life. If he does not win this match, it is going to be Irfan Saiki moving into second place and Matthew O'Connor with a chance later today to catch Irfan and move into second himself. It's going to be a crazy, crazy finish in the Falcon group. So here's how things look. Pyotr has guaranteed himself at least 57 game wins, so he is in. No matter what happens, Pyotr is in the playoffs. Paul needs to win these last 2 games to stay alive, and if he doesn't, it is Irfan and Matthew in a battle for second place. It's going to be a very, very interesting finish. So Paul Gallen fighting for his life, and we shall see what happens. Back to the board, and here's how game number 7 went. It was a blowout win for Pyotr. Your final score was 5-12, 281, and it was a blowout here, but Paul is still very much alive. Yeah, it's interesting during quarantine whether people are studying words or not. I think some players are like, hey, I'm at home all the time, all this free time to study. And other people are like, there's no tournaments. What am I studying for? I think I'm more in that latter group. But to anybody who's taken this extra time and studied words more, I salute you. I think you're doing a noble thing. Getting better at Scrabble is a great pursuit to get into. Okay, anyway, game number 8 starts now. We've got Paul Gallen fighting for his life, and it'll be Pyotr first to act here in game 8 with a chance to put things away here. Kind of a weird opening rack, though. You'd love to go second and get a D for outdwelt. What else is there? Outwelt blank. Just outdwelt, nothing else. All right, Watt for 12 seems fine, I guess. And kind of a fishy rack here for Paul. You could just play like AYE seems pretty solid, and he does play it. Oh, let out is a word. Okay. You could play let out keeping just a W. That's kind of gross, though. I don't know. So, interesting board early. It's going to be hard to get any high-scoring plays on. Ooh, white clept. Very, very cool. That's going to open things up. Any seed. Any seed might not play, but definitely D lanes does. Oh, cutely also a word. 6s are fun, aren't they? Wycleft or cutely. Both options there. Nice. So D lanes is the bingo for Paul Gallen, and Paul takes the lead. It's a do-or-die game 8, and he is so far doing quite well. Let's see, though. Pyotr's going to come right back. Bench for 46. Nice scoring play. Very nice. Wow, you're studying his triple. That's impressive work. Respect, Lucas. Respect. Okay, what's going to happen here? 92-91, very close game. 30 points for Nosh for Paul, and it's back to Pyotr with kind of an awkward rack, but I'm sure there's a spot for like Fugio or Thug or something. What does he do here? Gof. All right, Gof for 27. And it is a very close game so far. A crucial do-or-die game 8 for Paul. And he's doing all right so far. Very close, very close. Both players kind of taking out the main spots on the board to score points. There's not a lot of scoring options left for either player. And if somebody does bingo, it's going to be a low-scoring one. Not a lot of high-scoring bingo options either. Weird draws for Pyotr, but he plays through it. Baju is 37 points. Good play there. But Eugenist comes down. There's the first bingo for Paul. And that puts him in the lead. So Paul's ahead by 30-ish. And Visit comes down, a nice, decent scoring option for Pyotr. Close game, close game. Paul's ahead by a little bit, but his rack's kind of awkward. Awkward rack for Pyotr as well. What do you do here? Can't really get down Merva or like... I don't know what you can play here. You have no vowel that goes here underneath the W. You could play something above the W, like... it's tough. You could play Mod. 20 points for that. I don't know. Difficult position. You could play Vom. Just unload 2 consonants for 16 points. This is gross. Not a lot of great options. Okay, Vacuum. I didn't see that. Nice word. Vacuum for 13. Keeps the board closed because you can't overlap this V. There is an open bingo lane through this T, but neither player's drawing bingos at all, really. So a close game. Paul is ahead by 20. 20 is kind of a lot on a board like this. He exchanges 7. What a strange choice. I would have just played QI, but he exchanges 7. And maybe you play from this V. Is there a word? I don't know. Not seeing a word. He just plays Rod on the other side of the board. That's interesting. So a very close game here. Vtex, a big scoring play from Paul. It also opens the board a little bit. Misrule. Merliest. Merliest is a word. Merliest would put Pyotr in the lead. Can you find it? Merliest plays here for a big, big score. 83. Oh, misrule instead. That's not the best play, but it is a bingo, and it puts him in the lead. There's a blank, and Ennobler comes down. Wow. Paul retakes the lead. Close game now. Zari, the Z-bomb. 1 in the bag. Paul's down by 14. No, sorry, 24. He's down 24. He's got the blank, but what can you do here? I don't think you're going to bingo. You got to play off your Q. You could try playing just the Q and then try to draw like... I'm not sure what you could draw, though. He plays QI. He's going to try to outscore. Very close endgame. ILOPR blank. Pyotr's going to go over. The 10 points could really matter here. He's down by 13. The overtime will make it 23. He goes over. He's down 23 now. Goer, 24 points. I think Paul's got this, right? Yep, Politer is the outplay, and Paul's going to win by about 16. We got ourselves a game 9, folks. Your final is 418, 402, and Paul Gallen forces a game 9 for all the marbles. Wow, okay. We are tied up 4-4, and it all comes down to game 9, and I'm sure Matthew O'Connor is just drenched in sweat right now. Oh, my. 4-4, we're tied. So if Pyotr wins game 4, it is a wide-open race between Matthew O'Connor and Irfan Siddiqui for the playoff spot. If Pyotr wins, it's just going to be... Sorry, if Pyotr wins, it's that. If Paul wins, it's going to be Paul and Pyotr in the playoffs. So, very exciting match, and it's a very pressure-packed playoff race with 4 players still alive in this tournament out of the Falcon group. One last look at the standings. Here's where things stand. Pyotr has won 4 games already. He is in with 57 game wins. But Paul needs to win this match, which is currently tied 4-4, to get his 7th match win and get into the playoffs. Very, very tight race, and all 4 of these guys, Pyotr, Irfan, Paul, and Matthew, are all still alive as of right now. So an intense finish to this season for the Falcon group, and it's all coming down right now to game number 9 between Paul Gallen and Piotr Andronowski. We are tied 4-4, and we're waiting on a game 9 to start any second now. Dramatic finish, to be sure. We can just briefly, as we're waiting on game 9 to start, look at how game 8 ended. I don't think there was anything really to be done for Pyotr. He had this rack of AEE, GORT, and just not a lot of choices, really. Goer was a nice scoring play, and he did the best that he could. Anyway, we got to go on to game 9. Here we go. 9th and final game, and it is Paul Gallen opening with a big play. Zaire for 48 is a strong scoring play from Paul. And so it's advantage Paul early, but interesting rack now. Hob for 27 for Pyotr. And a somewhat balanced rack, but no bingo available, I don't think, for Paul Gallen on turn 2. So a reasonably close game so far. We're going to have to sweat this one, guys. 48-27 your score so far. Paul Gallen on turn. Not seeing a real standout play here. What does he have? Looking from this ZO. Maybe you can do like CAD? I don't know. What is a reasonably close game? Nobody like opened with a bingo or anything? What? Oh yeah, so Irfan is going to wake up to this? Wait, let me just Google this. What time is it in... I think he's in the Istanbul time zone. It is currently... Oh, it's 9 p.m. Okay, so Irfan could be watching this. It's only 9 p.m. where he is, I think. All right, so dosages comes down. 89 points for Pyotr, taking the lead. And we shall see what happens here. Oh, right. If Pyotr wins, then he's going to be asleep while Matthew is playing Tony Sim later. Very true. So I think we're about 8 hours away, right, from Matthew versus Tony Sim. I think it's at, what is that, 7 p.m. in Matthew's local time? All right. Ijirine comes down, 61 points, and Pyotr adds to his lead. So Ijirine gives a 100-point lead, but Ice Maker comes right back. A monster bingo from Paul. Still a close game. 177-161. Paul is definitely still in this. Joel, the J-bomb from Pyotr. Looks like no bingo here, I don't think. Do you fish here if you're Paul? This is tough. Paul's already pretty low on time as well. Tough game. He plays Teloy for 26. He's basically down a bingo at this point. 48 plus whatever Pyotr scores this turn. So Teloy kept EN, and he's going to hope for a lucky draw. Oh, he did get a blank. Okay. So a blank for Paul, who's down a bingo, and he might get a bingo soon. I don't see one right now. He probably doesn't have anything, right? I don't see anything. But I'm sure there's a way to score and balance and go for a play next turn. Yeah, he plays Daft for 18. That kills off some bingos, though. You don't really want to block that spot if you can help it. So Pyotr is up 63 and on turn, but his opponent's got a blank. This could be a close game here. Pyotr with a lot more time than Paul has. 2 minutes still. He's done a good job throughout this match playing fast, and it might pay off for him. If we get a close endgame, he will like having the extra time to process it. All right, Gluey is going to block a lot of bingos. That's an interesting play. Gluey is going to block things that are through that N or that T and hint. But there is still a bingo spot here in line 14. Pincers is playable. Princes, all sorts of options. I like Princes a lot. That's a high-scoring one. Princes scores 86. It would make it basically a tie game. Can Paul find Princes? He's got very little time. 20 seconds plus the minute overtime. Pincers is not as good. Pincers is less score, and it opens a triple. Let's see here. The X is a good tile for scoring, and Pyotr is ahead by 12, and he's got the X. Ooh, SE is not a word. Good point. I didn't see that. And Smee is being called out in the chat. Yeah, Smee is an S-hooking lane. All right, so just holding on to the X. So Paul is still down. He plays Rain for 17, but he's still behind. And, ooh, XU scores 38, and Pyotr's got the blank. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's looking like Pyotr's got this, but let's see what happens here. Wince comes down, and not a good draw for Paul. Paul's behind by 96, and he's drawn pretty poorly here. It looks like that might be it. It looks like Paul's not going to have a chance here. He plays Woo, and the board is just dying. Although, hold on a second. He could draw like Brannels or something. There is a bingo possible in the pool. 2 in the bag. What does Pyotr do here? He probably wants to leave one in there so he can outrun a bingo. He plays 1 tile, and now Arsenal. Oh, AA kills the spot. Nicely done by Pyotr. Blocking bingos, and Arsenal's not going to play anywhere. Yeah, AA, a 1-tile play, leaving a tile in the bag and blocking the spot for Smee. Very crafty move by Piotr Andronowski. and I believe that it will win him the game and win him the match. Paul has got Arsenal, no spot for that word, and it looks like he's just got no options here. The board is dying. He's just going to play off his A, but there is no way to play anything here. And it looks like Piotr Andronowski will hold on and will win the match. I'm looking for a spot for leaners, which is the final rack that Paul draws, and there is just nothing. So, wow. Piotr Andronowski is going to finish off a 5-4 victory in the match. A really good match indeed. I would agree with you, Jalopnik one. That is quite a finish as Piotr holds on and wins the match. 5-4. And for Paul Gallen, this is the end of the road. A very tough fight, but Paul comes up short in this match, and he will be eliminated. A rough run for Paul, who I believe was 6-0 in his first 6 matches of the season, but he runs into a very tough slate. The last 3 matches he loses to, I believe, Matthew and Josh Sokol, and now Piotr here. So Paul is knocked out of the tournament. Piotr will advance. And now the question is, who advances with him? Will it be Matthew O'Connor or Irfan Siddiqui? Let's take a look at the standings. We can update this for you real quick. So if I could find the right, okay. So Piotr improves to 8-1, and Paul falls to 6-3. So, and I can do the game wins as well. So it is a 5-4 win, right? So it is 58-23 for Piotr, and then Paul going 4-5 falls to 56-25. I think I did that right. So as you can see, Piotr is obviously in. 8-1 gets him in with ease, and now Irfan is 7-2, and Matthew O'Connor needs to win his match and win 6 games to match Irfan's record of 7-2, 52-29. So if Matthew goes 6-3 plus about 250 spread, then Matthew and Irfan are tied exactly. So if he goes better than 6-3 plus 250, he's in. If he goes worse than 6-3, 250, he's out. If he exactly ties Irfan, then I'm going to have to make up a new rule, like there's a 1-game playoff or something. I don't know what. Please don't tie him exactly. That would be a really just terrible outcome. I don't want that to happen. In any event, we're going to have a very, very interesting... Yeah, we should do like a... I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a fair solution. Hopefully there's no tie. That'd be crazy. All right, a look at the schedule. It is currently 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which means we are... let's see here. Some number of hours away from some matches, if I could do math. In 7 hours, we're going to have David Eldar versus Wei Binto. That is on Eldar's channel. I believe that should be on Weibin's as well. That's a mistake. Eldar and Weibin are both going to be having a stream of their match. And the winner of that match, Eldar versus Weibin, gets into the playoffs out of the Aardvark group. And then after that, the very next hour, it's going to be Matthew O'Connor versus Tony Sim. Matthew looking to go at least 6-3 against Tony Sim to overtake Irfan to make the playoffs. So those are the most important matches of the tournament right now. It is David Eldar versus Wei Binto and Matthew O'Connor versus Tony Sim. If you are in the U.S., those are coming up later tonight. And if you are in someplace like Singapore and Australia, they are tomorrow morning. So those are the most important 2 matches. I cannot wait for either one of them. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that action unfold. In the meantime, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to make some lunch and whatnot. I'm going to enjoy my day, and I'll be back later to enjoy these matches for sure. Be sure and tune in to the Twitch channels of David Eldar, Wei Binto, and Matthew O'Connor, and enjoy all of the action later. I know I will. I'm going to sign off. I believe there is some Can-Am action happening right now, so I'm going to go ahead and tune into that. Let's do a raid of Mr. Aster Typo himself, Josh Sokol. We're going to have lots of Can-Am action throughout the day, so you guys can enjoy that. Hope you have some fun, and I will see you guys later with some more BlitzChamps action for sure coming up later this weekend, and next week, of course, the playoffs begin. Until then, I will talk to you later. I'm signing off. Have a nice day.